we're going to tell you why we've chosen to lose the rooftop tent and switch to a swag.
A big swag. We're going to go over a couple of things that people aren't aware of when they go to buy a rooftop tent.
Who know us might know that we travel full-time with our caravan, and you might be wondering why we have a rooftop tent anyway.
We've got the rooftop tent because we like to get out and about off-road. Can't really drag our caravan over some pretty nasty roads and river crossings and that sort of thing to get to those really uncrowded spots.
And you might also notice that we're swapping from a King's rooftop tent to a King's swag. For the money, we've been really happy with the King's gear. This is not anything to do with not being happy with the King's rooftop. So one problem we have had with it is we actually nearly lost the rooftop tent. The fixings came undone at some point. And the way we found out, we were getting the windscreen fixed, and the guy at the windscreen place was talking to me, and he kind of just, oh gosh, I can hardly reach it. He kind of just went like that.
That's another problem.
And the whole thing lifted up in his hand, and we had a look, and it was only being held on by one bolt, no nuts. They'd all come off. At any given moment I could have driven around a corner and the whole thing could have slid off the racks there. We'll show you what we did inside. So you can see up here in the inside under the mattress.
So here is the original mounting point where that cross bracket there, because of the vibration going over the roads, these holes have ground themselves out in the structure. We've also doubled up with these, so we've slid other washers in along that crossbar and fasten them down with big washers and a couple of plates just to be doubly secure.
One of the positives of a rooftop tent is how high up you are, and how that can sometimes add to your feeling of safety depending on where you're camping. If you're in croc country, you're away from critters on the ground, but also you're attached to a 3-ton vehicle. If it is windy, you at least don't feel like you're going to take off like Dorothy in a tornado.
Or one of the Central Australian whirlywinds.
Another one of the great features of the rooftop tent is they say you can fold it away with your bedding inside it. This is true unless you're a bit girly like me and you like your creature comfort, and you found that the 70mm thick mattress wasn't quite enough for more than a couple of nights sleep, and you wanted to add a little bit of extra foam on top. We put in this piece of memory foam as well as our bedding on top, and while you can pack it away, it's really hard to get the cover on with that on. And over time we found it actually put pressure on the hinges.
You've got these two plates here that are joined at the top, and then they're your two main bars that spread right up to the top of your tent to open it up. And then when you fold it over, it pulls everything together. Unfortunately, when this goes over here and there's too much and you're pulling down on the front, it starts to try and bend the back bracket. So as you can see, we've got left and right marked on there because we did have to pull them off and straighten them up with a couple of shifters and a vise.
Technically you can fold them with extra bedding in there, but there is a limit on how much comfortable bedding you can put in there, and in fact our pillows generally we put them in the back seat.
We are fussy with pillows too, and they're not your average pillow either.
I'm fussy.
Part of the structure of the rooftop tents is the ladder. It actually takes the weight of the half that's folded out.
So it's important that it reaches the ground, which we have on occasion got to a campsite that wasn't quite level, and because of the height of our ute, the ladder hasn't quite been long enough.
Even with an inch lift can make a big difference too, especially if you're not on level ground.
We have just discovered that Kings do actually make an extension which is about 30mm longer for, is it 30mm? 300
Yeah, 300mm.
30 centimetres longer.
Caters for the lift.
300mm longer.
No ladder required for the swags.
So something they don't tell you about with a rooftop tent is how hard it is to get up in the middle of the night to go for a pee. Ladies, I'm just saying, you got to get dressed. If you're in a caravan park, you've got to come up with some ingenious device if you don't want to have to climb down the ladder in the middle of the night.
Not a she-wee.
To be honest, if you've had a couple of drinks, the last thing you want to be doing is climbing down that ladder, and you have to do it more often in the night. It's definitely something you have to think about if you're going to get a rooftop tent. Honestly, it's one of the main reasons we're thinking about changing to a swag instead. So I'm just going to show you how tricky it can be in the dark with a wet ladder in your knickers and your nightie to get out of this thing. Feet, that's quite uncomfortable climbing up and down that ladder. It's definitely something that you should be thinking about before you buy one.
She's good fun, but if she had thumbs it'd be a lot better, so she could help us set up, wouldn't it? So here we are playing at our base camp.
We're all set up at camp. Hey, geez, it'd be nice to just explore what's over that hill over there. You can't go anywhere because your whole camp is attached to your car.
What do? You can't. So there's no such thing as a base camp. You can't take off in the morning and come back to your camp. You have to pack everything up first.
It's not so much the matter of having to pack the tent away, because it really isn't that hard to set up or pack up.
No, it's quick. The only thing is you want to make sure that you're done and you're ready to chill out for the rest of the day.
Because not only is it the tent you have to pack up, but it's all your other gear. Your tables and chairs,
Yeah.
your cooking gear, anything else you might have sprawled out over the time that you've been camped there. And you might lose your perfect spot. You might have found a really good campsite. Someone comes along and pinches it.
Hey, so as you can see, no more rooftop tent. And this might not be the best setup, but for us it definitely fixes a couple of issues we had with the rooftop tent.
So the main three things it fixes for us is we can make it a bit more comfortable with a little bit of extra bedding.
Belle agrees, she can get in it.
There's no more climbing down the dangerous ladder in the middle of the night, and we can set up a base camp and then still go off for an explore.
As an added bonus, we also have a bit more flexibility now with the roof rack. We've actually cancelled out a fair bit of weight from the rooftop. Might have put a bit more on here, but a bit less on here. Not you, me.
We're hoping to be able to test it out soon, as we hopefully can head north, really put it through its paces and see if it is the comfortable right setup for us.
So check back with us in a couple of months.
And we'll tell you how it went.
Cool, alright, time to bar. If you really liked it, hit the subscribe button too. And don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought.